time flies, doesn't it? You guys have heard of that one, right? I recently heard a great quote from someone at church. Time flies, but we are the pilot. Isn't that a great quote? I didn't come up with that. I heard that one from my pastor at church. He gave a great sermon, and what he was talking about had some really great points. You know, we're all given an equal measure of time. It doesn't matter if you're affluent or if you're poor. We are all given the same quantity of time. I mean, it can be argued that some people live longer than others and all that stuff, but as far as the 24-hour day goes, everybody's got 24 hours. Okay, so we've each been given these 24 hours, and how do you want to spend it? Now, I heard somewhere else that something really unique, and this wasn't from any pastor or anything. This was from somewhere else, and the person said, if you were given $28,000, what would you do with it? You had only $28,000 and you had to use it, but that's all the money that you'll ever get to use and spend. So, and then you'd have to figure out how, you know, you'd be very careful how you would spend $28,000. Anyway, to make a long point short, the point the guy was trying to make was the average lifespan is 28,000 days. How much time do you have on this planet? How much time have you lived? You know, 1 year is 365 days. You live 10 years, that's 3,600 days gone. So if you count a day as $1, how have you spent the past $3,600? Okay, and how much days or money do you have left? How will you spend it? Who will you spend it on? When you think of it in those terms, you start realizing, wow, each day that I have is precious. It is a finite resource. It is limited. Everybody has pretty much the same, maybe not everybody has the same quantity of days, but the days that you are given are yours, and you are the pilot. You direct where that, how that day is spent. I also heard another quote. I got this one from Stephen Covey, The Second Habit. He's known for his 7 habits of highly effective people, and this one comes from his second habit. And he talks about, he gives a wonderful analogy about time, and well, he doesn't quite talk about it in terms of time. He talks about it in terms of the analogy of a pilot and an aircraft. When you fly aircraft, you have a flight plan, and most of us just get on the airplane and, you know, like let's say we're going from LA to New York or wherever it may be. The pilot has a certain flight plan, and we get in the plane, we sit in there for a few hours, and we get off, and then we get to our destination. Well, what Stephen Covey talks about is a mission statement, that it's important that we produce our own mission statement, because much like a flight plan, if we do not have a plan, a mission, we will not be living, meaning we will basically be like a sailboat blown around in the wind, and who knows what our destination will be, because, you know, we'll be influenced here, influenced there, we'll be pushed left and right. And the reason why Stephen Covey uses the airplane as a wonderful analogy is because when the pilot makes his flight plan, and he charts and navigates his course. He plots his course of where he wants to go, what is the arc and the trajectory he wants to fly. The flight plan is, if you're a pilot, the flight plan 90% of the time is wrong. So here, the pilot wants to go from LA to New York, a few thousand miles away, and let's say the flight takes, I don't know, well, wherever it may be. Like, I like to fly to Honolulu to Taipei, right? So it takes 10 hours. Okay, so can you imagine if you're flying and 9 out of the 10 hours you're going the wrong way? Okay? Deal with the analogies that because the pilot has a flight plan and he's wrong, the plane is drifting or being swayed or running off course 90% of the time, he can constantly correct by means of feedback, checking where he's going, what direction he is, or what his all of that stuff. You know, he can figure out which direction he's flying, so he can constantly correct. And that's why you have pilots. You have, that's why they get paid the big dollars. That's why you need all this training. You know, constantly checking where you're flying, what you're correcting for, to minimize fuel loss and waste. You want to get there in a timely manner, efficient. Oh, yeah. I didn't see that. That was bad me. I didn't realize it was right behind me until much too late. But Alan interrupted my flow there. Yeah, I gotta watch that potty mouth. Sorry, guys. So, having a mission statement. What is your mission? How are you flying your day? How are you managing the limited time that you've been given every day? You've been given 28,000 days to live. If you want to think of it in dollars, at least it's visible and it's concrete. Some of us have a better use. Some of us, when we have something visual, like me, I'm a very visual person. $28,000 I can visualize. There's actually 28,000 separate dollar bills. Days are kind of harder to visualize because it is somewhat of an intangible. It's a concept. But dollars I can imagine. How will you spend your $28,000? Will you blow it all away on one person, and blow a big chunk away? You spend 3 years with someone, that's 1,000 days. It's $1,000 out of your $28,000. How will you spend it? It's very important. And I find as I get older, and I guess some of you older folks would probably agree that it's not quantity you want, it's quality. What kind of quality are you getting in your relationship and the way you spend time? Do you tend to think less about money and more about the time, the value of it? So that statement of time flies, but we are the pilot. It needs to be qualified that the pilot needs flight plan, a daily flight plan, maybe even a weekly flight plan, instead of a daily one, or a monthly flight plan, a yearly flight plan, and a 10-year flight plan, and an ultimate lifetime flight plan. We will go and make our way through life, and we'll be blown around. There'll be, you know, we might encounter gusts. There might be things such as storms and tornadoes and hurricanes that we have to avoid. There's certain things, you know, certain things that we have to go through, we have to go around, all that stuff.